the most horrifying experience. Imagine if that actually happened to you. Oh wow, you're haunted spooks me to this day. Mind-boggling crazy. The most haunted hotel in New York. That was some paranormal thing. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Halloween edition of the DaneMellowsTalks podcast. So in this episode, I'm going to be running through what this costume is and how I put this thing together, what's going on Halloween this year, which when this comes out, it'll be tomorrow. We're going to then be going through some horror stories. Okay, I'm going to be going through some 2-sentence Reddit horror stories. I'm going to be going through some proper horror stories on Reddit, and then I'm going to tell you the most horrifying experience that I've ever had. What I believe the closest experience I've had to an actual ghost or some kind of paranormal spirit thing. Listen, it was mad. So, but we're going to get onto that. I'm also going to tell you what my favorite horror film of all time is. And we're just going to jump straight into it with the costume. Okay, have a guess what it is. Who do you think I am? Who do you think I am? Dwight Schrute. Right. So what had happened was, right. Listen, the way I put this together was I got this blazer last year, very very cheap, and I just got it for cheapness. And basically it was for some like uni costumes that I had, and I thought, well, while we're going out again this year, I managed to bang this into another costume, which is worthwhile. On Wednesday, as in this past Wednesday, because this is coming out on the Sunday, we did a Halloween social. We did Extreme Ironing reunion. It was, and what we did was a Disney theme. So I needed to come up with a Disney theme costume. Wanted to do Wreck-It Ralph because it'd be funny. I'm 6'5", got pretty big hands. Boom, there you go, Wreck-It Ralph. Couldn't do that because dungarees are expensive. Red, brown, whatever colour dungarees he wears, they're expensive, okay? And I wasn't going to splash that kind of money on a Halloween costume. So instead, I went across to Primark, had a look at what I can get, and tomorrow night, I'm going as Dwight Schrute to host the uni quiz. On Wednesday night, I'm using the same shirt. I'm going to wash it in between. We're using the same shirt to go as Russell from Up. So one night, I'm going to be Dwight Schrute. The next night, I'm going to be Russell. And I thought I'd put on my Dwight costume because I've not actually put together my Russell one yet. I've got another t-shirt from Primark, right? It was only like £2 something. And I'm going to use this as kind of like a sash for all of his badges. Don't know how I'm going to put the badges on there, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that is why I've come as Dwight Schrute today, because I got the t-shirt for Russell. And then I thought, well, I can hopefully kind of make this into a Dwight thing as well. I don't have the glasses, and I also don't have Russell's cap. Massive downer. But listen, it is what it is. You dribble and you shoot and you hope for the best. I've put together what I can in the time that I had, considering I went out today and it's tomorrow night. Well, yeah. So that is basically it for my costume. And so, yeah, like I said, we're doing the quiz tomorrow, Tuesday, and we're doing Asylum Wednesday, Extreme Ironing reunion. We're going out this weekend. Might dress up, might not dress up. And then Monday, Halloween night, I'm DJing. So as this comes out, it'll be tomorrow. Myself and Jack Wilfan are DJing on behalf of Jam Radio. And there, I'm going to be Mr. Incredible. All right, boom. There you go. So that would be good. But to get into the feel of Halloween this year, while it is tomorrow, my favourite Halloween film of all time, right? It has to be one of the first Halloween films that I ever actually watched. Now, if you've seen Insidious, when I hear that film, I always think of the Darth Maul demon in it kind of thing. You'll know what I mean if you've seen Star Wars, creeping up behind the main guy in it, or the dad. Oh, to be honest, it's been a while since I've seen the film, but it's not that film. That film is my favourite one. My favourite horror film is Insidious 2. Only because it goes back to Insidious 1. When they go through to, what's it called, past that red door? Is it the Further? I think it's the Further. When they go into the Further, all that weird stuff that was happening in the first film that all like spooked you up, you realised it was the guy. It was the guy that was doing it in the Further, because this time thing, I don't know. Apparently, the fourth one is really good as well, but I've not seen it, so maybe that'll top it, I don't know. I've also not seen Insidious in a while, but I just remember watching Insidious 2 thinking like, wow, it was probably my first experience to like a film calling back another film, you know. in that like such a prolific way. But it was so I remember being so hyped at my mate's house when I was watching it. If I just shook the camera, I'm sorry, because I realised in the last episode the camera's shaking so much. It's because it's an unstable desk, and if anyone shuts the door in the house, my desk shakes, and my phone's on a very small tripod, and obviously it's just going to shake the entire thing. So apologies for that. Just please put up with it. And also the camera was jittering in the last one for some reason. Don't know why. Hopefully it won't do it in this one, but obviously I'm not going to know that until the edit afterwards. So we'll just hope for the best. I've changed a few settings, but we'll see what happens. Ooh, have you seen Smile? Smile out in cinemas now. Obviously not promoting it, but it was such a good film. I've heard a couple of people say they really didn't like it because it was too predictable or whatever. But yeah, it was kind of predictable. If you've seen, it had the same kind of idea as a different film. Can't remember what though. But Smile itself, really, really good film. The jump scares in it, they made me jump. I'm telling you right now. There was this one part, right, where she's closing the fridge door and you think something's going to happen and the music is building you up to it and everything, and then it doesn't happen. And it really like, it made me feel so untrusted in this film. I could not trust when I was going to jump. Like normally in a horror film, probably a little bit in Insidious, to be honest, you can tell when a jump scare is going to happen. It might still make you jump, yeah, but you can tell when it's going to happen. In Smile, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see him coming. Especially if you've seen the film when her sister, the person who's got the disease, her sister is walking to the car and her head just drops. Oh my gosh, I did not see that coming. In any way, shape or form. It was mad. Yes, Smile, I'd definitely say get yourself down to the Cinematorium and give that a watch if you've got the time to soon while it's out. Because watching horror films in the cinema, I think I've only ever watched Smile and Lights Out in the cinema. Maybe another one. I've seen Halloween in the cinema as well. But I think other than those three, I'm not seeing any in the cinema. But it is a lot scarier in the cinema. There was a group of like road men, proper like I'm big, look at me lads, on the same row as us when we went. And they were literally hiding in their hoods. I'm not saying I wasn't, but they were doing it too. They were hiding in their hoods. Everyone, all those jump scares, the cinema moved back. I'm telling you, the cinema shook. It was, I genuinely felt like reaching up and like punching and kicking the screen, because that's kind of what I do when I get jump scared. But yeah, mad, absolutely mad. Right, let's have a look at these 2-sentence horror stories. So I've not read any of these as it goes at the moment, and I'm going to be reading them out and let you know what I think about them, let you know if they're actually scary, because if they're not, then we're just going to dip out on it straight away and we'll go to the big ones. But we'll do some short ones, 2-sentence ones at the moment. So, I came home from work and sat in my home alone. Just then, I heard a knock at the door, but then heard somebody else say, "Come in." Right, it's going to be hard to read these stories and not be like, oh, someone's just put this together. Like, it's obviously not true. But imagine if that actually happened to you. Imagine if you hear a knock at the door and you're like, I'm home alone, I'm going to leave it. And you hear someone else say, "Come in." Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'd do. I'd leave, but are you going to have to pass the person because they're on the way to the front door? Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's too creepy. It's too creepy for me. Right, when I checked my text messages in the morning, there was a picture of a dead man laying on his bed, covered in blood with a knife sunk deep in his chest. I had only just realised the man was me when the dagger hit. So you'd seen a picture of your death seconds before it happened. Freaky. None of these are like making me a little bit uneasy though. I would have struggled to sleep tonight. That's the vibe I'm going for after this podcast. I always wondered why the third step on my staircase creaked. I choose to step over it because it creeps me out, but when I accidentally stepped on it today, I felt a powerful grip of hand around my ankle. Yeah, rubbish, mate. Rubbish. Right, let's scroll down a little bit, see what we can get. Mate, they're all by this Garv guy, 8640. Who are you, mate? I want to hear from someone else. Right, I think this is going to be a bit more than 2 sentences, but we're going to give it a go. It says, scene 1. Girl says, "Dad, why do we have to move again?" Dad, "Sweetie, because your mother does not want to stay here." Boy, "Does mum still hate you?" Dad sighs, "Come on, kids, let's get back to our old house." Mate, these are horrible. These are right. I'm gonna read you this, and we're gonna move on because this is like a true representation of these being rubbish. This says, Quote, "Daddy, there is a boy in my closet," says the son. I open the closet doors to see no boy in there. I'm shook to my core, I'll be honest with you. Right, they're dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Right, I'm hoping these ones are a lot better. Let's give this a go. A few years ago, I was walking through the woods off beaten. Have I actually got the English capacity to do a full sentence? I don't even think I could complete the sentence I just tried to complete in my head right now. Let's give that another go. A few years ago, I was walking through the woods off the beaten track a bit, and I smelt this really overpowering sweet. Oh my gosh, we're not going to get through this episode. I smelt this really overpowering sweet smell. Being nosy, I pulled back the undergrowth to have a look and found a dead body. Oh, no, I'm giving up. It sounds too American for me to read that one. I woke up with blood gushing down my cheek when I was younger, and I didn't feel anything, but my face felt wet. So I went down to my parents' room, and they freaked out. Till this day, we still have no clue what cut my face, but I needed 8 stitches next to my eye. We checked the sheets, pillowcases, edges of the bed, etc. Still no idea. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's rough. That's rough. Waking up and the side of your face is gone, essentially. You need 8 stitches to put that back together. 8 stitches from a dream, essentially. You don't know what happened there. You're haunted. I've actually got a little bit of goosebumps on my legs. I might just be cold. But yeah, you got to move out. Move house there. Move house. Someone said it's a harmless medical condition. It doesn't seem like a harmless medical condition, mate. Right, let's have another go. So, I was sleeping, and in the middle of the dream, a character of my dream who was doing something turned her head, looked at me very seriously, and said, "There's someone in your apartment. Wake up." I nearly had a goddamn heart attack, and my apartment was empty. Oh, see, the thing is, I got a little shiver then because I thought it was going to be someone in the dream had told her to wake up because there's someone in her apartment. She wakes up and someone's robbing her. Um. Oh. Yeah. No, if I had that dream, and in my dream, someone turns around and says, "Wake up, there's someone with you right now." Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. When I was a young child, I had the same dream every night for years about drowning when a huge wave swept over me and I sank to the bottom. Not some good nights as a child then. Years later, I had a temp job delivering mail one summer during college. I saw this old lady sitting on the front porch waiting for me. When I got up there, she looked at me and said in a foreign accent, "You drowned when Oceana sank beneath the waves." Freaked me out. Could that be a kind of thing of past life? Oh, right. One of the things I'm potentially debating doing on the podcast is conspiracy theory weeks, right? Where I get a few conspiracy theories. We have a little chat about them, and I see what I think about them. I say whether I think they're actually real or not. Past lives could be one of those weeks because I've heard a story before, and I'll say this and then get back into this specific one, where there was this little girl who had said in her past life she was killed with like an axe. I can't remember exactly what it was. Well, let's say it was an axe. Was killed by an axe, okay? And she said that she knows where it was buried, and like where the body was buried, where the axe was buried, where all the evidence was, right? And she kept talking about this farm, okay? And I can't remember where it was, but let's say they lived in London, the farm was in Scotland. She kept talking about this farm in Scotland, and it was she was like, "Mum, Dad, yeah, this is what happened there. I know where the axe is on this farm." And they searched the farm, and the farm was a real place. And as the story goes, there was no way that this little girl knew about this farm up in Scotland. But sure enough, they drove up to the farm because it was getting a little bit freaky at this point. So they drove up to the farm and they take her to the specific spot. They do a little digging, and sure enough, the axe is there. Listen, I'm not saying past lives are 100% fact, but some people are born with scars. What's all that about? Without getting too scientifical on it, I I can't see what else that is other than past lives. Like, imagine if you were born the same day that someone was axed to death, right? And I know it's a bit dreary, but it's a Halloween episode. And you have a scar exactly where their point of death was on their body. Like, surely there's something in that. Surely there's something in that. We need to have a proper read into some of them past life stories on another episode. But this one, it is a kind of thing of some people say dreams. The dreams that you have that feel so real are actually like gateways into your past lives. I know in like Doctor Strange, it's like into the multiverse and stuff like that. But people do actually say when you dream, you're dreaming about your memories. Because obviously from the life that you're living now, but also the life that you were formerly in. This one could be a kind of thing, and then that's why the woman recognised him. But would you look the same? Yeah, there's a lot of highs and lows of it, but very freaky, that one. Very freaky. Right, we're gonna do one more, and then I'm gonna tell you my horror story, right, that happened to me, and it spooks me to this day. It spooks me to this day. Right. Once I sat across from a guy who told me about killing his girlfriend, him cutting her into pieces and boiling her head. Right. He explained why he killed her. Oh, so he'd done this. Oh, wow. Okay. You should probably move. Don't sit with this guy anymore. He explained why he killed her and wishes he could talk to the parents so they could understand that what he did was a good thing. Then in brackets, it wasn't. Didn't need brackets. We know it's not. I sat with him for like 45 minutes as he went into detail. It was the most surreal 45 minutes of my life. Oh, okay. A bit of context. He worked in a max security mental health facility. One more, because that one was a bit next. I want to find a short one because the short ones are easier to get through. They're a bit snappier. Sometimes a little bit better. Let's have a look. Come on. My grandma swore by this story till her dying day. It was during the war in London, and my dad was a baby. She was bombed out of her house and was staying with a friend. She was bombed out of a house and she was staying with a friend. Anyway, she was taking my dad upstairs to bed when a figure materialized on the stairs telling her not to sleep in that room tonight. Oh, you know what? That shivered me already. I've actually got a few shivers on that. Right, so a figure materialized telling her not to sleep in that room tonight. She went back downstairs and told a friend that she and my dad were sleeping in the sitting room that night. Her friend was annoyed, but she agreed. That night, a bomb exploded near the house and the roof caved in right on top of my dad's cot. He would have been killed. That gave me some goosebumps then. Listen, those stories are mad. It's the same kind of thing as 9/11, you know, when people are like, oh yeah, I was going to get on that plane, but something was telling me to get a later flight. So I cancelled the flight, got a later flight. And then what happened? Another thing of, I heard a story one time, someone who was working in the trade centre was staying at a friend's house and she woke up feeling a bit ill. And so she said to the friend, am I all right to stay in today and just take a sick day at work? And the friend was like, yeah, that's fine. Stay in, that's fine. Don't worry about it. And obviously then that happened. And if she didn't take that sick day, or the friend was like, you can't really stay in my house alone, you got to go into work, then she would have been involved in that. And it's stuff like that that is absolutely like mind-boggling crazy. That's enough for me. Yeah, I am a little bit spooked now, you know, which I'm kind of glad. So that's the vibe I wanted to get from that. So I'm glad that we got that from Reddit. Okay, so we're going to close off this episode on the most haunted story that I have to tell. Set your minds back, cast your minds back to, what year would it have been? 2018? Maybe. Yeah, 2018. 4 years ago. That is not that long ago. 4 years ago, okay? I went to the Big Apple, New York City. And when I was in New York City, what happened was we were staying in this hotel. I was there I went with college, basically, and it was a big department trip, and I was basically there with 5 of my mates, though. 5 of my mates. 6 of us all together between 2 rooms of 3. First night we was there, was a little bit jet lagged. We weren't really that tired yet. We was all 6 of us in one room. There was 2 beds. Between us was just all chilling there. The 3 people who had access to that room were in that room. Myself, it was Peter and Anthony, right? The 3 of us were in that room. At 3 in the morning, the door swings open. We see the light come in from the hallway. The door swings open. We're all silent because we're all first year college at this point, year 12, right? So we're all like, what the? who's this then? We're all kind of looking at each other like someone has to do something. The door swings open, swings shut. Within seconds, me and Peter go to the door, and we open it. There's no one in the hallway. I can't tell you, within seconds, we went and opened that door, looked through the peephole, opened it, there was no one in that hallway. When we was in like the middle of the hallway, it was this massive long hall, and there was no one there, right? Gets weirder. It gets weirder. So, the doors in this hotel were the first giveaway that this was a sketchy place. They were prison doors that looked like, I can't confirm this, but it looked like it was the doors that used to be some kind of asylum. Okay, I can't. It's hard for me to describe what they look like. If I can find a picture of them while I'm editing, I will put it in here now. But the doors hadn't been changed since like 1912 or something like that. It said on them like made in 1912. So that was the first one that was just like, it didn't look like the nicest doors. Don't get me wrong, the rooms were fine. They're a bit like old fashioned, but whatever, it was a college trip. I go up to my teacher the next day as we're there. As we're just walking around, I'm like, oh yeah, this really, really strange thing happened last night. Explained the whole thing to her, and she said, there's two teachers on this trip, bearing in mind. This one said, okay, well, I didn't want to tell anybody this, but while you've told me this, I'll let you know. Don't tell the other teacher, because she's very, very scared of haunted things. So the teacher I went up to said, when we booked this hotel, I had a look online, and it is the most haunted hotel in New York. Listen, when she said that, it certified it to me that was some paranormal thing. When I've told this story before, people have said, oh, it was room service, it was the maid at 3 a.m. It's not the maid at 3 a.m, my friend. It's not the maid at 3 a.m. It was very, very freaky. And what a stupid thing that we did was, as you go into the room, the toilet was on the right, okay? And then you have to go round the corner, and then the two beds are there. So as we were in the two beds, we couldn't see the door. We could just see the light coming in. But if someone had somehow got into the room, they could have easily just walked through into the toilet, and me and Peter, we went straight to the hallway, right? And they could have easily got us from behind, or just they could have been in that room when the six of us were in there. And I can't tell you, I was shaken to my core. That happened, and oh my gosh, I struggled to sleep that night. Don't get me wrong, I stayed in that room. The three mates who had another room, they went back to their other room. We didn't know. Also, sorry, there's something else happened on this trip. One of our friends, I forgot that there was the six of us, then a couple more that we knew on the trip as well. Someone on the same floor as us, but it was a long corridor. It was a very long corridor. Down the corridor, round the corner or something. They were staying in there, a few of them, and she was sleepwalking. She apart as the story goes, she doesn't sleepwalk at all, right? This one night, she sleptwalked. Listen. She was sleepwalking and ended up in the lobby downstairs, and they had to ring up the room. They had to wake her up, ring up the room, and say, "Yeah, can you come down and get your mate with the key because she's sleepwalking in the lobby." Listen, if this hotel doesn't sound haunted, that is genuinely, hands down, the most haunted story I have to date. So I hope you have enjoyed this little Halloween episode of DaneMellowsTalks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. And also, if you're listening to this on Spotify, then rate it 5 stars for us, please. Thank you very much. And if you thought this Halloween one was decent, then wait until you see what I've got in store for Christmas. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.